Hey dudes, it's your friend, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Come join me in the circle with my bearded brother, Howling Buds, the poet laureate himself, Stony Alpinist, and of course, the better half of Frapple and my friend, Johnny Apple. Pass to the left and let's have some fucking fun. To shine.
No,
we're gonna bring Stony
not
right
this-
in after talking about blowing my load. In typical Yag fashion, here we are, folks.
Well,
Welcome
there you go.
to the circle. I'm gonna pretend I'm the Reverend Pirate Frog today, even though I am actually not. And I'm Johnny Apple, and we have this unique podcast called Your Average Grow. And somebody stop me already. This is stupid.
No, I was going to let you drown for a while. Thank you so much for that, Johnny. I appreciate it. I was just grinding up some tangy in celebration, really, of Stony hosting this episode, but he declined on it because he's also had plenty of tangy and he wants to more contribute. So once again, I hate the sound of my own voice,
You're right.
and I host these episodes all the time, and people are probably like, that guy's lying. He loves the way he sounds. No, man. It's this or Johnny's rambling or silence. So I take the bullet. But this time I want to introduce some of my favorite people in this world. You heard Johnny, so don't make it seem like he's not my favorite of the favorite. Howling, you put this whole shindig together.
Howdy, everyone.
Oh, that was really an entrance that you could just bank on. Stony.
Yeah, way to blow that one out. Yeah, So I'll give Howling the credit. Then he pulled all of this show together and started bringing the ideas together. So thank you, Howling, for setting the show up. But good evening, everyone. It's great to see everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Chef 1, Chef 2, Alebrije Genetics, the sponsor of this doomed podcast.
Great to be back, as always.
And it is an absolute privilege to introduce, first time on Yag, probably the lowest point of his career, Chef Sam.
Thanks for
Sam's
slumming it tonight. We
Stuff.
appreciate it.
Thanks for
Oh,
the trajectory downwards.
No, it's fantastic. I love podcasts. Howling reached out to me with Instagram. I'm always like super personable. I mean, when people add me, I'm hitting them back right away. I'm like, hey, thanks for the ad. Let's chat. And I've been busting this guy's balls because all of his pepper plants never produce fruit. And I think you guys are fucking things up, man. You guys got some questions to answer.
Yeah, we're hoping you can help. You know, all these it's funny that you bring that up. Our buddy Auto Pirate has started a YouTube series where he's growing, but he grows in prohibition land, so he says organic peppers. So it's going to be really funny when it gets towards the end.
I love it. No, it totally works. I know with like YouTube, I've been like creeping around a little bit. You got to be cautious with some stuff. Your shit gets flagged. I feel terrible for the community, the stuff you guys got to put up with. It's more than I have to put up with. That's for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a dirty little corner that they let us play in, and no one leaves us or no one messes with us. So
the
I suppose
key
we
is
tried
to
to
not
promote things.
monetize anything, so that when
Yeah.
you get demonetized, nothing. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
You're like, I
Can't
wasn't
threaten
already
us with a good
making
time.
anything.
Exactly. But I do.
Yeah, as
I
far
do
as that
wanna-
goes,
you guys,
it
I
has
mean,
been
making
easy for
this.
us.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say.
as far as
I
that
do
goes,
want
it's been easy for us because we don't fucking. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I keep interrupting. I'm just gonna shut up for the rest of the show.
No, please don't. I do want to thank you again for joining. And I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but your tie to Alebrije, you guys did a collab on some, might I say, extremely highly rated hot sauce. Oh, look at that! product
There it
placement,
is.
man.
I know Alebrije did drop 64 bottles, but you know Big Daddy Sam needed his own, and I have 65 of 65. Suck it, nerds. It's awesome.
To be expected.
I do have
love it.
some more that I've been, dealing with. I didn't have labeled properly. It's awesome. It was a fun collaboration, one of the most fun I've had, and it was the trust that Alebrije had. He's just like, hey, this is kind of what I want to go for, because I didn't know. And then it's not like nitpicky sample. It's like, hey, let her rip, dude, and then fucking send it. And he was happy with it, I hope, and I hope all you guys were too. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Appreciate it.
Let me jump in. Yeah, I was thrilled with it, and I did. All credit goes to Sa'house because I just gave him the general profile, and I had an idea of like the ingredients and the flavors, but I really just kind of threw it at him and just let him rip, and I was not disappointed at all. He nailed it. All the nuances of the Blues Ormega were there. It's a hot sauce versus weed. They're obviously, it's not an exact replica, but it definitely brings all the flavors that remind me of Blues Ormega. So he crushed it, man. It was such a fun concept to execute.
How did it come together?
Too.
Like, I'm just wondering how you two crossed paths and started talking about bridging like these two worlds.
Thank you somebody for
what's
asking
your
that.
meat
I was
cute?
like, I hate to say it, but I was lost in the sauce here.
Did you hear me on a podcast or something?
I've been creeping on a lot of podcasts, anything with like chef related. Like, I'm in not prohibition country. I'm in Minnesota, where it's like the Wild West here. I mean, there's no dispensaries whatsoever, but everybody can grow, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But to hear about people making their own like edibles and medicinal aspects, I'm all for that. But I heard him on a podcast with like the edibles one. I forgot.
Yeah, it was called. I can't remember, but yeah, it got edibles in the title. But it was all it was my
fantastic.
Like, cooking journey.
And then I got to hear like, the chef in background. I'm just like, dude, this guy is fucking sweet. And then I'm looking into his artwork, hearing more of the person he is. I just, creep on him. Like I said, I'm an extreme extrovert. I throw lob passes out all the time. And if sometimes somebody catches one, it's like, sweet, let's do this. But this sucker just caught it. And then he's here for the ride,
Well, so yeah, at that point, he reached out to me and sent me some Smokey J and some of his chimichurri, his chimichar, and the funky garlic, and some swag and stuff. And it was awesome. I loved the branding. The artwork was awesome. It was right up my alley. I'm a big hot sauce person. I always have been. And
that Smokey J was the one you had featured in Hot Ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, season 23 was on the number 2 spot. It was with Conan O'Brien, Ludacris, Barry Keoghan, a bunch of people I don't know, but I know who Conan O'Brien is. I know who Ludacris was. Lil Dicky completely passed over it. He didn't even comment on it, and I'm just like, the name is Smokey J. Come on, somebody put 2 and 2 together. Right. But everyone's like, oh, I love the Smokies. I'm like, oh man. But hey, my labeling, my artwork's ridiculous, but it's me. It's me in a bottle.
You know what? I'm going to pick your brain on this one because this is one that really jumped out and was pretty unique for me. I want to talk to you about chia.
Oh,
that was one of the things
seed.
that I picked up in that one, and I think that's one of the. I think you find it a lot in that Central American cuisine and Southern American cuisine, and used as a thickening agent because it's got that natural kind of slickness to it. But what it does on the palate, like I'm sure that there's probably 97% of the people out there that tasted that sauce that had no idea, put nothing together with the chia in there, or they looked at it and they got their healthy halo and were like, oh, this has chia. And then it's like, it's actually a functional purpose that is put into there. And it's like this really old school thickening agent that comes out of it. So if anyone's ever had chia before, the chia seeds, or seen what they do, like, my first exposure to chia was an Albert Einstein chia head. That you got the little packet of seeds, right? And you slathered it on the top of the head and this little brown clay thing, and you put it out in your living room, and you kept putting water into it, and it grew these seeds that came out of it. And I always thought there was like this magical like syrup or something that they put onto it. I couldn't figure it out. Like, how do they get it to get sticky like that? Fast forward to 30 years later, and it's the health food craze. And I'm doing a bunch of work around like trying to figure out new textures and sauces and how to do things without, as clean as possible. And I come across chia, and I'm just playing with it as the starch broken all the way down. But tell me why you got into the chia, because there's more to a story than that. So take me there.
And 100%. To speak on that in a culinary sense, usually I use xanthan gum for a natural thickener. I know it's not. I mean, if it's naturally derived, it's naturally derived. Simple as that. But I think a lot of people that are also like anti-MSG because of like old false claims that it's just essentially like racist claims years ago. MSG is great. There's nothing wrong with it. If people say they're allergic or they're sensitive, I would put money on it that they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Every chef
Simple
I've
as
ever
that.
heard says
Yeah,
the
they're
same
lying.
thing. MSGs were
And it's so upsetting because you see these Asian restaurants like proudly no MSG. I'm just like, you fucking up, dude. but on that point, it's that like natural thing where with Hot Ones is why I switched. Hot Ones doesn't allow unnatural ingredients or gums, which is kind of just like they really want to be that, that natural. But I'm like, dude, I use citric acid, naturally derived xanthan gum. For a culinary sense, it's a beautiful ingredient for people with celiac, gluten intolerances, for thickening things. They depend on that. But I'm like, all right, cool. I was playing around with like arrow seed, like arrowwood, a couple other thickeners, but chia seed once ground and then like ground with water and let sit for at least like an hour or two before incorporating in the sauce. Worked pretty good. It does not work as good as xanthan gum, but I like a really cohesive, pure product. I hate seeing breakage, natural or not. It's disgusting to see these premium $15, $18 bottles of hot sauce on shelves that are just broken, where it's like half oil, half water. And I don't use seed oils or fuck with any of that shit. So hedonist pushed me in that direction. And when you're playing with the devil, you just say, yes, sir, may I have another? And you kind of follow their lead. It worked. Using it in like funky garlic that I know Alebrije mentioned, I would not use chia seed in there because you'd be able to see it.
Yeah.
Because it's like a very vinegar forward sauce. So I'll use xanthan gum in there. Works great. But that's why I use the chia seed. And I'm glad you picked up on the use case, because some people doing reviews, they'll rattle off the ingredients. They'll go, "Oh, chia seed.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, healthy number one. It's like a chia seed parfait."
Well, I think it does. It basically does the same thing that fat does, or a very similar vehicle for flavor that fat does on your palate, right? Because it makes it thicker, so it allows for the flavor to hang out on your brain. And to circle back on that MSG in its own right is just something that, when applied to your taste buds, it effectively opens them and allows more sensation to happen. The nerve endings at the tip of it are able to really gather all this information. So, and it's funny because we talk about the no MSG, but yet there's still that little cardboard tube in the salt aisle that says accent, that all of our grandparents, they're like, "Oh, I put accent on everything." Yeah, you put MSG on everything because really that's all that is, right? Right. If you put Saison, if you put adobo on, you more than likely are going to be putting MSG onto it. It's just a natural part in functioning. But the slickness, the mouthfeel that you get from things like xanthan gum, and also the way that you can almost mimic thickening with fat. Like I used to buzz vinaigrettes. And typically at our restaurant, we did not like doing acid forward because we were very wine, like that was the focus at it. And so I figured out that I could back off on some of the fat and use more fruit juices rather than, and more zest and things. And as I'm running the vinegar in the blender, and I would, there's like, this was the time of molecular gastronomy where everyone was measuring grams. And I was like, oh, I can just take the tip of my paring knife, tap it 4 times, and I'm going to start to get the buzz. And then you hear the sound. And then right at that time, I could start mounting the oil into it, and it would grab that oil and hold on to it. And so now I could have a lower oil, lower fat, higher flavor, but still delivered on all of those things that I would want with the flavors. Just a fun little thing. I know they seem like the wig, but Jim, you're literally putting like a quarter of a gram into sometimes, a quart and a half.
Are you talking chia seed specifically, or like xanthan?
Xanthan, yeah.
Oh, dude, I've had people like makers that have never used thickening binding agents. A lot of people, even in the premium craft sauce game, they use oils a lot as an emulsifier, and I'm so anti that. It's like it's a cheap way out. It's a filler. It's rancid. It's not what you would want. But they're like, hey, how do I use xanthan gum? It turned out way too thick. I'm like, how much did you use? Well, we use like a quarter cup, and I'm like, dude, you made mashed potatoes, bro. Like, it's not. It binds up a Vitamix if you put more than like a teaspoon at a time. I mean, when I'm doing 10 gallons of sauce for a small batch, I'm probably using like 24 grams, like to the T. No messing around. Otherwise, yeah, dude, you can't. Yeah, it's too thick sweet. What do? Thin it out with a bunch of other shit? It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
You fucked up.
Yeah. You start small and build it up.
Yeah.
And for those that are kind of like making it at home, like, you know, it doesn't just, it does translate all the way down to doing it at home too. Like I keep xanthan gum around my house because there's times when I'm making a small vinaigrette that I'll do it. And if you're making batches of hot sauce, which is, I know, one of the things that we're kind of talking about, like you can do them at scale where we were really kind of focused on starches and gums and all these things. You can do them at restaurant level or kind of wholesale level where you're doing thickening agents and really thinking about preservation and having these jars sit for a long extended period of time. But you can also make hot sauces that you do at home and just keep in jars, and using something like xanthan gum when you're in the pureeing process of it can really help grab and hold a lot of the maybe fruit puree, which I know is a really common one and is a real good entry level for one. And maybe that's kind of a good place. Is I wanted to circle back and be like, how did you get started into hot sauces? Because there's always that moment where it's like, shit, I think I want to make another one of those. I want to make another one of those. And it just begins to build. So take us back to that. Like, where did this sort of hot sauce thing come from?
First, you guys are way too kind. I appreciate you, like, rolling out the red fucking carpet, man. Quick
First of all,
little
don't ever say
rundown.
such nice shit about us.
It's a green
I
one
know.
too, and it's kind of dirty, and it's got a lot of burn holes in it. So you're in the right place, brother.
But I just want to applaud that second circle back there. Holy shit. It's Tony's angling for a raise.
Dude, loving it, man. Well, someone like my back history, been a professional chef for, I keep forgetting to add a year, but like 18 plus years. Went to culinary school right out of high school. Went to Vegas for a couple years, traveled all over, did a lot of casinos, country clubs, restaurants, hotels, doing all that. And it was awesome. It was sweet. But I got burned out, man. I mean, everybody knows you're putting in 50, 60, 70 hours a week. You're putting in 12, 14, 15-hour days, and you are with your community, your other chefs, like bragging about how much you've worked more than them. And that's insane. For people that are not in the culinary industry, it's crazy to think how passionate people are, and they leave with like a chip on their shoulder, just like, man, I've worked 12 days nonstop. You got nothing on me. But it's also like, that was me, man. I mean, it was like a selfless act. I've missed weddings, I've missed birthdays, holidays, funerals, and at the end of the day, I could still justify it. Like, I'm doing what I should be doing. You know, I'm running the ship, taking care of things. That's a sad way to kind of think about. That was my 20s. That was a good portion of my 30s. Gone doing that. But way back with even that's like the culinary involvement I have. When I was a little kid in high school, I was growing peppers. Loved it. Even my stepbrother and my dad and all of his friends, they're like, there's no way a kid in high school is growing peppers outside. We know what he's growing. And I was growing peppers, like legitimate. Like, they're just busting my balls. But this was like back with forum days, like hot pepper forums. I was super involved in like the cigar community and shit too. But I loved it. I was trading pepper seeds as like a little kid with people all over the nation. I mean, and it was just like, it was anonymous, and nobody knew who I was. But I just, talk the talk, and I loved that community. But growing super hot peppers, this was even like 2005. The hottest pepper in the world then was like the red Savina, which blew my head off. But now, compared to like, 7-pot primos, primo tallies, all that crazy shit, chocolate boulas, it ain't nothing. It's like a sweet, spicy bell pepper. And back to that, it's an amazing pepper. People need to utilize it more. The red Savina, gorgeous. But yeah, little kid in high school growing peppers. And then it wasn't when I was like slowly stepping away from the restaurants, which I'm proud to say I'm fully self-employed for almost like 4 years or so, but I've had the business for about 5. Is when I like got back into the garden. My father has a huge garden that I started as a little chunk. You know how it is. He's like, yeah, you can have a little garden. And then I got a little bigger, and I hired a guy to like till it out for me. And he's like, well, it can be this big. And my dad came home pissed as hell because he's like, this is way bigger than what we said. But now it's like 4 times bigger than that because he loves it too. But no, he's getting up there. He's like getting a little older. So I'm just kind of taking it, and a lot of peppers, man. All the specialty peppers I grow myself. But when it comes to jalapeno those more generalized habaneros. I source locally as much as possible. Up in Minneapolis, they have a strong Hmong community, and that's how they're sourcing. They're making money for the whole year. And I'll go up there and I'll walk home with 100-pound satchels of peppers, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck's this white boy just rolling in, taking all of our what?" And it blows their mind. But yeah, that's the pepper journey for me, man. I love it, dude. It's flavor. It's getting out of people's comfort zones. Flavor more than heat, but I do love some heat too.
So
Now, when you get so deep into the pepper game, is it like cutthroat in the breeding realm of it, especially when it comes to hot sauce?
Oh yeah. Everybody knows who Ed Curry is. He's the guy who did the Carolina Reaper. I'm a big Troy Primo fan. People don't really know that name, and I'm on top of a mountain shouting his name out because he created the 7-pot Primo. And then the Carolina Reaper came to be. There's a lot of discussion in the pepper community. Like, is it the same pepper? Did someone take someone else's genetics, slap their name on it, and they were just a better salesman rather than the originator was a better creator? That's kind of how I see it as. Nothing against that dude, but Troy Primo's the shit. He's like an old school musician. He has scientific background degree with developing peppers. I've messed around with pollinating some peppers without much success. They do open pollinate too. They'll pollinate themselves. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I imagine if you're trying to create the hottest pepper out there, you have to guard those. That was a big lesson people learn. There's a show called Super Hots on Hulu. It's all my buddies are on it. It's so cool to watch it. And there's a big discussion about pepper breeding and development where there's this goofy character. He's walking around with his peppers in a briefcase with a handcuff to his hand. And that's a little over the top, but if you created something and it's this special variety, and if someone else has the seeds, there ain't nothing you can do about it. It's out there. But yeah, dude, 7-Pot Primo, the bomb. Troy Primo's the coolest fucking dude ever. He would love to be on this podcast.
That's super. I don't wish this on anyone, but no, that's super cool. I'm on Team Primo because unknowingly I planted some of that 7-Pot Primo. It did. I don't think it germinated well, but I did plant it. So let's go Team Primo.
I'm looking at I've never heard of this pepper, and I'm looking at a picture of it, and it looks like a pepper straight out of hell. How could you want?
I wouldn't eat it, but I sure as hell will grow it.
It's another thing with those super hot varieties, those Chenences. They take 8 days to germinate, 12, 16, 2 weeks to germinate. They're picky, man, and they take. For me, being in Minnesota, I'm going to be starting my seeds next week. Because I can't get them out. That was very much going to be. Yeah.
That was very much going to be my next question. How do you get going, and how do you harvest? Because I know these hot peppers are long. They're like they're a haze, for Christ's sakes. They're gonna.
I was gonna say it's funny all the parallels between cannabis and the peppers, and the breeding and the discrepancy over who came up with the genetics, and the specialties taking such long grow periods. I just keep hearing parallels. It's really funny.
And now I understand why you fly with a briefcase handcuffed to your hand, Alebrije.
Well, my peppers,
but there's a lot of. I mean, it crosses a lot. I'm glad you said that. It's for me trying to tiptoe more in this this not necessarily industry, but this community. It's awesome. It's passionate people. They value passionate individuals that they want to support. They get back behind a person rather than a brand, which I think is fantastic, man. I mean, it's your breeder. It's that mentality, shaking your rancher's hand. You want to get some local beef, local eggs. It's such a badass feeling to be I know that guy. I shook his hand. That's what it's all about. But yeah, developing that stuff is crazy. I have to start my peppers early, man.
Yeah, it is all about a single individual person. You're right. Because you look in the cannabis world and you see someone who was it? Chris Lynch was the breeder for it was Compound Genetics, and they were doing all these things with cookies, and then someone bought out Compound and he went and started, I forget the name, Cypher Genetics or something else. But in my mind, that brand is now something completely different because it was all about the person who was making the selections and things that was trustworthy. And then when just money comes in and buys it, it all of a sudden it just completely loses the essence.
There's
100% why we
a parallel with another breeder who had their top breeder leave. I mean, got our boy Daz that left Mephisto, and Mephisto changed quite a bit during that switch over, and you just see that his eye on
with them or they left.
Well, yeah, there's a huge following behind him with the Night Owl brand, and then his collaborations with other people. You see they kind of followed where that quality and that eye for the plant and that care for the plant. They naturally followed it, and
the community always fucking talks, man.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, and I imagine it's the same with peppers. But you find a breeder and who you like their style, and you like that what they pick and what they do, right? So you're more inclined to be like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to follow him because I liked all this other stuff. I like what he's doing. So if he does something, chances are I'm going to like it. And if they're your friends and they're good people, you just get more stoked on growing it. Whether, like, hell yeah, dude, I know the guy who made this. It's always a better experience. And I imagine with peppers too, jokingly saying about picking a side, but I'm assured in peppers there's people who obviously only do it for the money, and you're just like, all right, man, like that's not cool.
Pepperjoes.com, big shout out to them. Not really. When I was a little kid, their quality was awesome. It was great. They send you a little card in the mail. You wrote on what you want. You send them a check. You got it. It's a cash grab. It's same with like this industry, the cannabis industry. People can grab money. You can be, hey, here's a bunch of stuff, cool. But the general public doesn't see through that. But that's not the people that I want. I want to see people that say, hey, I want a fantastic finished product. Fuck yeah, I want this guy, and dive through this shit. Because just like this, like your industry, we don't have toilets made out of solid gold. Let's be real. I mean, it's not why we're doing it. It's something we're extremely passionate about, and we enjoy, and hopefully we wouldn't want to do anything else. And that's kind of why we're still doing it, or at least I am.
So I'm dying to ask you now, the seeds you're about to plant, where'd you get them?
Oh, these ones are they? A lot local, direct source from like Troy Primo. Big shout out to him. Once again, I used to run a podcast called Spill the Sauce Podcast. We've had him on multiple episodes, the best episodes we ever recorded. Hit it up. Awesome interviews. But I grow a lot of 7-pot Primos. And let's just say a lot of his stuff, he has the Big Mama series. He has these big mustard mamas that are extremely hot peppers that ripen this dark, rich green with like a tint of like mustardy, orange, yellow. So it's a pepper that like doesn't ripen red, yellow, anything. It's like this dark, rich green, but it's a powerhouse with heat. It's like different capsaicin oils are involved in there. And I have a Big Smoky Mama, which is Smokey J's Hot Mom. It's basically a revved up version, which I only use those peppers in. And then I grow a lot of ají limón, citrus peppers. I know Alebrije is very familiar with those for my hot hand banana ram. But though I try to do less now, like less types of peppers, more quantity of those, because I can't do, I would love to grow, dozens of different peppers, but I want to make a single source sauce, or I'm trying to like keep things afloat, more or less. I don't want to be a hobbyist and grow a shit ton of goof off plants. I want to grow what I need, essentially. And Big Smoky Mama, I was only able to make like 230 bottles from everything I grew, because last season was shit, out of like 20, 30 plants. And once it's gone, it's gone. And when it's gone, people got to wait till next year to get it again. And that's cool. I mean, I don't mind that. I hope other people understand that's what happens.
Do you contract like local farmers to grow a certain variety that you might want that you don't have the space to do yourself? Or
it's I've tried. Last year was my first attempt at that, and I felt so bad. There was a farmer that had a bunch of new land to develop, and I'm like, yeah, dude, grow a ton of jalapenos, ton of habaneros. I'll buy all of them from you. And he had such a terrible season because we had like 7 weeks of like nonstop rain right when June kicked off, and it was just same with like cannabis plants. They don't really. There's so many parallels. It's amazing. It's gorgeous. They were just drowning. If a pepper plant is overwatered, it's happy, it's content, it's essentially not stunted, but it ain't gonna do anything. It's chilling. We're good. But it needs that dry so the roots expand, go down, and then you're going to get that same expression on the top. If it's consistently wet, you're going to have a bad time. But it's also, when you're starting peppers in pots, you deal with like aquaphobic every once in a while. You underwater things too much. It's not taking in any water. You're like, sweet. And that's another reason why I'm trying to get away from salts. Yeah. Getting away from salts because to see that build up at the top when it's aquaphobic, and then all of a sudden you're trying to like water or feed, and then everything gets thrown out of whack. That's why I love starting to get more involved in this community, because it's talking about organic soil health. I love that shit. And it's like, I love it. Yeah. It's fucking.
Dude, let nature do the fucking work for you, man. It's so easy. It really is.
It's funny about that is because when I first, so I've only been growing cannabis for a couple of years, but I've been a long time more natural organic side of gardening. And when I got into it and I was trying to learn, the best information I ever could get was from the cannabis forums. Like, they are the ones that like could tell me anything about soil and how to use it. Just might be a different plant. But I got almost all of my gardening knowledge, outdoor growing knowledge from cannabis forums. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Perfect, dude.
It's the gateway to gardening.
You feed this. I think, I don't know if I picked it up from you guys, but you're feeding the soil, not the plant. And that blows people's minds when they think about that. It's like this epiphany.
Yeah.
Well, and
you're actually
you can't blame
feeding the
people.
Microbes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't blame people because when you're taught in school about how plants grow and how you garden and stuff like that, they always tell you like, oh, you just water it in or something like that. And it's like, well, that's just we're really inconveniencing a lot of future generations by not explaining basic, soil health when it's going to be a devastating problem in the future.
This could be a fun one. Can people raise their hand if they've ever used Super Thrive? Is that old school?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. It was like probably 20-something years ago. It was like the antidote. You put a little bit of this Super Thrive, and I'm pretty sure looking at it was just microbes. But it was plants, everything, boom, bam, boom, love it. And I was a sucker for that. But I think like Photosynthesis Plus, I've been a huge fan of, and the microbes. You guys know what you're talking about. So I think people in the growing produce or real food, they could learn a lot.
Dude, my garden, like fucking just from starting to grow cannabis, my outdoor garden and just what I knew the attention needed to be focused on just made my plant game it was incredible. You grow from these stupid looking beefsteak tomatoes that you get from fucking Lowe's on your way out the door to these what were those pink tie-dyes. Oh my God, man, those things, when you eat a fucking tomato from an organic garden and just, dude, I can't even eat tomatoes this time of year. It's so boring now. It's like I hate growing a tomato that isn't grown in my organic garden outside. Like, man, it's so.
Well, I've also heard you grow beast-ass pumpkins, Johnny. I did peek at a podcast, and you were like flexing big time. Like, you know what you're doing when it comes to produce, my friend.
Well, that was an experience. That was actually an accident. I'm convinced the only reason that one got that big is because it was cross-pollinated. I think everyone else that was growing that specific breed of pumpkin was self-pollinating, and I'm the only one that like had another pumpkin growing and said fuck it, and just also was throwing a lot of fucking compost at that son of a bitch too.
You probably
you were top dressing your lawn.
Yeah, I was. That's not
before. There's a couple things that I want to do before we move on to anything else. Can we go through a full list of the sauces that you offer so that we can get them out of the way? Because we keep referencing them.
Like I say, first of all, I'm an open book. Hit me up on any social media platform. If anybody has questions, I want to help. I don't necessarily just want to shell shit, buy stuff, sell stuff. I want to make sure you get something that you really enjoy. Otherwise, I feel like a dick. Like, I don't want to offer super hot things to people that can't handle it or don't enjoy it. Because, hey, it's a sale. But I know that bottle's going to sit in their cupboard or their fridge forever. And that's not what I want. I want people to use these products. But we already discussed the Smoky J. That was the one that was featured on Hot One season 23. It's a mild smoked Verde. Simple, clean, killer. I also have Chimchar. Alebrije had a hit of that one. It's my charred chimichurri. So it has a lot of capers, preserved lemon, a lot of fresh herbs, grilled serranos. It's bitchin', super nice and acidic, pungent. It's like my steaks. Put it on a lot of fish, but anything you want that high acidity to, killer. I also have a Hot Hand Banana Ram. And my names are ridiculous, by the way. And it's Sa'house. And my branding. Who the hell would name a brand a company where nobody knows how to read? But that's me, dude. I love it. But Hot Hand Banana Ram.
Okay,
it's
you're
banana.
talking to Reverend Pirate Frog.
I love it, dude. The banana one contains a fresh banana puree as a sweetener. It's not to taste like bananas. It doesn't. It's like my take on a sugar-free sriracha. Sriracha is great for what it is. There's way too much sugar in it, and it's a terrible thing that people don't think. They think, oh, this is great. I put it on everything. It's because of the sugar. That's why you put it on everything. So when people see this banana hot sauce with black cardamom, ají limón chilies, preserved lemon again, and a blend of rice wines and white vinegars, I tell people, don't think of the banana. Use it like sriracha. That on pizza, bomb. Avocado toast with a fried egg. Fuck yeah.
The banana, let me interject. The banana one is so good. That was one of the ones when I first found out about Sam's house. I saw that when it was sold out, and the description was like banana, ají limón, black cardamom. I was like, that sounds so unique. And let me say, now that I've had it, it is so unique, and so it's better than sriracha. Don't even compare it. It's so good. Anyway, like that was one of the things that I was like that really attracted me to him. It's like, wow, these are really unique, creative flavor combos. This is like totally in my wheelhouse. You know, that was where we started to collab over like a profile for an Alebrije. But back to your lineup. But get the banana, you won't be sorry.
Oh, that's where Alebrije gave me the nod of the cap. He's like, all right, I trust this fucking guy. He's not a weirdo.
If he can pull this shit together, then that's a unique blend.
Yeah.
I want to pause for a second too. So I heard the rice wine vinegars. Are your all vinegar based, or do you do fermenting too?
I do a funky garlic and repality. I do ferment. I love doing it, but it's a pain in the ass. It's another process. I do like just lacto fermenting and vacuum sealed bags, where I just doing, it's just like very small ratios. Like if you're 2% by weight, I'm adding salt. Once the fruit, the peppers, the produce is processed, mix 2% by weight salt. Mix it up, throw it in a vacuum sealed bag. If your temperatures are correct and there's still that like lactobacillus acid working around on that produce, it's not like sanitized because you need that shit. It's living. Then it'll inflate these bags, and it's awesome. If you walk away, I mean, if you miss it for a couple of days, it could explode. But essentially, when it's gassing out,
tell me how you know that.
It is not. I've had one leak. And it could have been an explosion, but I went down in the basement. This was a while ago, and I'm like, why is everything shit? And this is like toxic warfare, man. It's like habanero and 7-pot primo mash, and I'm just like, dear God, nobody touch anything. This is bad. But I'll ferment those. But it's a process in its own, and like funky garlic sold out. That's another one because I'm not finished fermenting the last batch. And then once that's gone, it's gone for the year. And it could be in a month. It could be all the way until next August. And I'm cool with that because I use really fresh, locally sourced garlic, like a Romanian red variety, which I shake the farmer's hand. It's all he does is specialize in garlic. This spicier version of funky garlic is called Repality. And as I said, my name's ridiculous. So it's kind of a take on like Fatality with like a Reaper, but it doesn't use Carolina Reapers. So I think I'm giving Ed Curry too much fucking clout for that. But it's like, a revved up funky garlic where it's still a Louisiana forward fermented vinegar forward sauce, but with more punch. And then let's see here. I also got Tyga style. Show up the Wu-Tang Clan. Nobody picks up that all. They go, oh, the thigh sauce, the Thaiga. I'm like, Taiga style. It's like THAIGA.
I believe I've heard that sauce is nothing to fuck with.
Oh, dude, it ain't nothing to fuck with. It's my baby. It's not my baby, but it's my favorite. It's the first sauce I ever made professionally, and it's the only reason I'm still doing this. It's the most true, authentic, fresh Thai-inspired hot sauce I've ever seen that I've wanted to create. It's not an authentic Thai sauce, because an authentic Thai hot sauce would not contain like any vinegar, more like fish sauce dominant other things. But there's vinegar involved, a blend of habaneros, Thai chilies. But I'm like, dude, all the other Thai Asian sauces on the market, it's a sweet chili glaze with a fuck ton of sugar. I don't want that. So I got fresh galangal, which is like a Thai ginger, more citrusy than peppery, then fresh lemongrass, and then the makrut lime leaf too. It's like a kaffir, but it was like kind of like derogatory. Someone was saying in like that community, it's just like, you know, they prefer like the makrut lime leaf, but that's what I'm utilizing too. And these are 3 ingredients in like Penang curries, tom yum, tom kha gai, like really traditional Thai food. And you taste every single ingredient. That, not even just on like Thai Asian food. I say, if you get some Thai Asian food that's lame, it bump up the authenticity. But that on fucking tater tot hot dish, bomb, stupid good. And your listeners, unless you're from the Midwest, you're not gonna know what the fuck that is. But tater tot hot dish,
you and your hot dish.
Oh yeah.
I'm assuming there's cream in there too, because it's a Wu-Tang sauce, so you've got to have the cream.
Oh shit! Cash rules everything. I did not. That would be. Oh man! Hopefully nobody listens to that, because I should take that. It needs a little coconut milk in there, baby.
You got it.
I can assure you, no one listens to this.
For sure.
It's really cool. Is
and I'm the
my
reason.
My aunt is Thai, and she often complains about the sugar in a lot of American sauces. So I will definitely have to get her some. She'll be stoked.
And it does. It is the only sauce I actually use any amount of sugar in, just because the Thai chilies are so bitter. That's the only reason I'm doing it. So it's not necessarily a sweet sauce, but just to kind of compensate from that bitterness. But yeah, Taiga style, fucking shit. It's awesome. I also have a Boxcar Hippie, which will be renamed soon. It's a beautiful name. It's from a restaurant right next to me in Rochester, Minnesota. They do like LA style grilled burritos. It's like, I always tell people around here, if you like Chipotle, tell them to suck it. This is the shit. This is what you want to go to. And it's chefs. I know Stone and Alebrije would appreciate this. This is like chefs that I've been involved with doing that fine dining restaurant where we smoke cigars on the last day in the open kitchen. Awesome time. But they were just burnt out of the fine chef tweezers, gastronomy. They're just like, let's just make good food that we like, man. So it's everything made in house, killer. But they reached out to me and they said, hey, I want a hot sauce. You're the man. Let's do it. And they wanted like a name called like Satan's Anus or something way too out there. And I'm just like, buddy, it needs to be stupid hot. Then he's like, well, we don't want it super hot. I'm like, well, then you can't name it that. Let's just say Boxcar Hippie. Because when you walk in the restaurant, it's like Cheech and Chong theme everywhere. It's so nostalgic. Like the lampshades are like milk crates upside down. You guys would love this shit. Don't come to Rochester, Minnesota just for like the Mayo Clinic, because that's not going to be for a good reason. But if you are there, I got some food hookups for you. But that's a fire roasted picante with little preserved lime, Trinidad scorpions, fire roasted tomatoes, peppers, Mexican oregano. Ooh. Very straightforward, like burrito, like straightforward sauce. I also got One Drop. That's the heater. And that's not like a reference to be like, you only need 1 drop. It's more like a reference to coffee, like with Bob Marley and the Wailers back in the day. They'd always call the 1 drop as like the reggae beat, or like, like that coffee reference. So it does utilize some small batch craft coffee, which maybe I got to talk to this guy, change it up a little bit. But it's like a bittersweet mole. Coffee, black garlic, dehydrated orange, a little agave nectar. It's as hot as I like to go, because I still want to like have flavor. But in each bottle, like, 4-ounce boss around. You're getting about 3 chocolate bootlas after doing some kitchen math, and they're ripping hot. But flavor all day. Tamales, awesome, dude. Can't go wrong. Enchiladas, shit like that. Outside of those, I did release a new trial by fire. And if I'm rambling too much about sauce, just let So trial by fire.
Please stop talking on this show designed around people talking. That's what we want.
Yeah. If you didn't fill it, it would be filled with useless information. It would just be me saying some shit.
I love the episodes when it's just you two just riffing, bullshitting. But hey, I'm glad to be here spilling that sauce. But let's see, trial by fire. Every year it's different. It's my way to fuck around and find out. Last year's batch was with a fresh garlic scapes, and then even some like Buddhist palm citrus, and a lot of big mustard mamas. So that was just a garlic on garlic, fun, goofy sauce. I made 168 bottles. Once it's gone, or 128, and I'll never replicate it. So this year's trial by fire I just released is insane. It's kumquats all day, baby. We have salt cured kumquats. We have cognac infused kumquats, where I actually utilize some of the liquor as well. A little tamarind puree, 7-pot white bubblegum peppers, which are screaming hot. Some green Thai chilies in there because I like the balance of that. It's wild, dude. And like a little smoked ancho pepper for like a little. It's bitter, sour, sweet, tart, little smoke, killer.
They made my mouth burn for about 15 minutes. I had to try it. I just got the bottle in today, so I'm like, I just grabbed a chip to try it. I got that in the charred chimichurri one, and but yeah, I was like, oh, this is good, and then all of a sudden the heat hits you, and it's just like, oh, okay, this got a punch to it, and then I'm expecting it to go away, and it's like 15 minutes later, my mouth's still burning, and it's like, oh man. So if you like heat, that one's good.
I like heat, and I like kumquat. That's definitely on my radar.
You never see kumquats on a sauce. I'm like, salt cure these kumquats for like 2 years.
To say,
and then like the brandy and the cognac infused. Oh, I do these things and set and forget, and know at some point they're gonna make something awesome. And I will never recreate this again. I only do 128 bottles, 64 online, 64 for markets. And when one's gone, she's gone. And then next year, I'm gonna fuck around with something else. Let's do it.
That was another thing that attracted to me in your style. It was that we have that in common, and that I just like to do a single drop and move on. I'm so glad we crossed paths and were able to collab over various passions.
Well, we can lay low on the sauce, but back to Alebrije, like with you and what you do, are you the only one that does it that way? I mean, it's gorgeous to do one and done. It's not even like creating the demand, but it's like that need. It's that quality. It's like the collector, but it's also very useful and usable. I mean, did anybody else do it besides you in your community?
Yeah, no, totally. I think a lot of people do the one and done, but I think a lot of others tend to release a lot of things at once. I try to just do one or two, maybe.
But I think it's the holistic package around it, the decision and the early on the intention of kind of crafting the entire story around it, and the mythological character, and then the cannabis to fit, and where it sits in the timing, and it is in the artwork and the collaboration. I don't dabble that far into, but I have never seen anything like that.
Alebrije was downplaying it. He's way cooler than he wants to say. He does dope shit.
Everybody does what I do.
Dude, he sells out. People are fighting in the streets for his shit. Like, he's just downplaying it. I
would have my trigger on the finger. I needed a bottle.
Yeah, dude. He's downplaying it. But before I forget, you mentioned a little bit of coffee in one of your sauces, and my dear friend Alebrije cannot stop getting cooler. Has also decided, hey, all you coffee addicts, guess what? I'm your new supplier, man. Why don't you give us a little insight into that? But
good.
I don't think I'll be.
Is that good circle back, Tony?
Thank you.
Solid play, but way to play.
I don't think I'll be anyone's full-time coffee supplier whatsoever. but I am going to do a small drop coming up. So if you want to try what I've been working on for the last few years, my evolution of this project, it's coming up on February 7th. And I got into coffee the same way I got into weed. It's just something I love and I consume daily. And I wanted to see if I could, have better quality for lower prices. Same like while you're growing your own weed. And I started roasting, and it didn't go well at first. And it's been a slow progression the last few years. But last summer, I invested in a new roaster and got on the ball and did a little mini internship. And I've definitely gotten a lot better since then. I've logged over 100 test roasts on my roaster now, and just feeling a lot of confidence, and have kind of like dialed in the curves on the beans that I've been working with. So I'm excited to finally come out with something, but at the same time, I'm just going to be keeping it small and doing it here or there. I just have so much going on that I'm not really looking to complicate my life too much further, but it'll just be something fun that every time, I want to try a new coffee for myself, I'll just, instead of buying a small thing, I'll buy a 50-pound bag and kind of dial it in, and then maybe do a drop for the community here or there, maybe one or two a year. But I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Do they come with pins?
As someone who's tried your cold brew, you do well. And I'm not a huge coffee person, and I loved it. So you won over someone who doesn't drink coffee. Congrats.
Well, and that was just made in the bathroom of my Airbnb. So I think I can do better next time.
You're making bathtub coffee?
Okay, I've drank a lot of things from bathtubs, brother.
That was bathtub coffee at our LA pop-up last year.
Would you would you ever consider growing a coffee plant?
I would love to, honestly.
I think it could be done inside your house, right?
It definitely could, and there are people that do it. Herb in the community, I think his mother-in-law maybe has a plant, and they keep it going, but I don't think they've gotten beans off of it yet. And I mean, it would just be for fun. You get, totally. Not very many beans off of it. It wouldn't be, it wouldn't be supplying my daily cup or anything. But yeah, it would be really cool, honestly. It's something I'm definitely intrigued by.
Yeah, I went to a local roaster. I took a group of some folks to him and spent the day with him. And he had like 2 or 3 growing in his roastery. And he said, yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 of them at home. I brought them back because he went and did a lot of he goes to the source and brought back saplings and got them going. And he's like, yeah, they take 2 or 3 years. And I get about a handful of beans. He actually eats them like in the green or like in the raw, like when they're in the cherries. He's like, they're delicious. I love to eat them like that. I don't make coffee out of them. I just love having my coffee plant growing. So
yeah,
maybe that's your next step, dude.
There's a couple of really big ones at my local botanical gardens. They have like an indoor tropical section, and they have like 2. They're like trees at this point, and they often have ripe beans on there when I go.
I mean, this thing was like maybe 4.5 foot tall, and it had like 8 beans on it, but they were cherries, and it was a cool looking plant, and I was like, that's a pretty interesting idea.
I mean, it's great for the education and to show people what it is. I think most people that drink coffee every day, they never even think about what the plant might look like, or what the harvesting might look like.
Processes.
Every single little bean is like literally picked off by hand, and the amount of work that takes to like supply the entire world with how much coffee we drink every day. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's another thing, like cannabis. Once you start diving down that wormhole, once I got into coffee, you definitely look more into the supply chain and where that coffee is coming from, and learning more about specific regions, and wanting to source from producers that are taking good care of their workers, their farm workers, and have a sustainable operation going on. Because there's a lot of crap going on, and there's a lot of crap in the world these days in general. But it's important to know know where your stuff is coming from, just like in the cannabis world, for sure.
Well, so, the other parallel there is you've got the terroir of the soil and where it's being grown, and most of the regions that have the best coffee have just incredibly nutrient rich soil, and it translates.
So my favorite region has become Ethiopia, honestly. When I started doing the coffee, I thought it would be this thing that I would only do Mexico, and we would, go down, and my mother-in-law has some contacts in Oaxaca, and my father-in-law has some contacts in Chiapas, and I thought I would source it all from there. But as I started to learn more, it's like, while Mexico does have some great coffee, it does not have a lot of
Ethiopian coffee
profiles and nuances,
light, citrus,
aromas, and bright going on. But it does at the same time. It can provide a great baseline, and it can give a nice, really mouthfeel. And I do have in my blend that I'm dropping. I have one that's from Veracruz, Mexico, and it's been fermented on the bean. So it has this honey, sappy, caramel kind of body and mouthfeel that comes through, and that's its purpose there. And then the Ethiopian I'm using has much more like berry and sharp notes in general, these dark chocolates, and really just like blueberry and wild berry kind of comes
through. How far are you taking the roast on each one of these?
So you take it, I'm taking them both past what's called the first crack stage, which would be, it's like a dark, on the light end of a dark roast, I would say, or on the dark end of a medium roast. Okay. Where I could go a little further if it was all specifically for espresso, but I'm trying to make something that can swing for espresso or for just a drip or a brew, pour over. I wanted something versatile because, I'm not specializing in all these different releases, and I'm not trying to become a craft coffee company, really. I just want to do it for fun.
Yet.
Right.
Do you mind?
I realized with Alebrije, with the seeds and things, how much work it is and how much time it takes. And we're going back to what we were talking about earlier, the individual being the breeder. And I can only do so much in a day. And my heart truly lies in cannabis first and foremost. But I do love coffee. And after giving up alcohol, it's my beverage of choice. And so I just come from a food and beverage background that I need something to geek out on in the beverage world. And so coffee just became it. But I don't want to be roasting every day. Whereas like I do want to be like in my garden tending to my cannabis plants every day. I love it.
Are you inclined on saying how much coffee you have to release? Because I anticipate this probably sell out quicker than any of your drops ever, the way you're describing these amazing flavor palettes.
I'm gonna try to do 50 bags.
It's gonna sell out real fucking quick, people.
That's all I can manage. I think it's gonna be. I don't even know what that's gonna look like. It's gonna be a couple.
And you said that was February 27th, right? Everybody get ready.
I believe it was 27th.
Yeah.
February 7th.
Oh man!
But no, I've been having fun with it, and if it goes well, who knows? There might be more in the future. But anyway, I'm excited for this first one, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, man!
Hell yeah!
I'm excited for everybody to fight for it.
Oh yeah. People have not had small single source coffee. Like I haven't tried yours, obviously, but the best cup you can get is from people that are just putting out experimental fun batches. When you grind them fresh and when you like bloom them with a little hot water with a pour over, it just froths up. It like awakens. Regular coffee, even whole beans sitting around grinding, it don't do that shit, dude. It doesn't burp up, and it's like citrusy. And if you give that cup of coffee to someone that likes coffee, they're going to be intimidated. They'll be like, what the hell is this? I don't like this because it's like citrusy. There's so much going on. Oh, dude, blows your mind.
That's not the cup of coffee I get at the gas station. Yeah, you're right. It tastes fucking good.
Even, I'm finding like the coffee I buy from my local craft roasters, while it's light years ahead of what's in the grocery store, at times it's also been sitting on the shelves for several weeks. And it's very different from when it was like roasted 24 hours ago. You don't want to consume it. It's still off gassing for the first 24 hours, but after 24 hours, fair game. And it's like just so aromatic.
Got
it's
3
like
weeks, dude.
You just took down the dried
weeks
plants and you're trimming it, and you have that first tester nug, it's the terps are popping. It's really good.
Yep.
So I do urge you. I'm planning to roast everything like within 48 hours of the drop. So I want everything to be ultra fresh. So I urge you, if you do grab a bag, don't sit on it.
Don't sleep on it. No,
enjoy it for a couple
put it in
weeks,
your pour over.
And that'll be it, and then we'll do another one sometime.
Okay, we'll have to do a little coffee talk on Instagram. I want to chat with you people and have a little cup together. We can cheers on the screen. It'll be fucking great.
We'll do a coffee hour in my Discord or something. Yeah, we'll do a little live sesh.
I give it about 3 minutes, 4 minutes until you're sold out. Mark my
Dude,
words.
it's gonna be quick, man.
Yeah.
And if it's not, shame on them. I mean, are you limiting how much someone can buy? Because you don't want to roll in and take the whole supply.
No, I'm not. I don't really know how to do that, honestly. So it's fair game. First come, first serve. But yeah, be kind to your fellow community.
Yeah, that's a fair statement, and that's probably that's a good question. I mean, do you get that a lot? I mean, I doubt that you get very many people in your drops that are buying out 20 packs of seeds, right? Everyone pretty much seems that everyone that shares is like, I got one of this and one of this and one of that.
Yeah, it's sometimes somebody might buy 2 packs, and on a very rare case, there's someone bought 3 packs of one thing, but hardly more than that.
And I would
normally
say it, Johnny.
Yeah,
say it, dude.
Normally it's because somebody was probably not gonna make the drop, and they said, "Hey, dude, buy me a fucking pack too."
Or they were buying someone else because they're I know you wanted this, but you couldn't make this drop, so I got it for you.
They wanted the pin. Let's be real. They wanted.
Like I said, the community fucking tells on itself, man. The community is always where it's at. That's where you find the fucking truth. That's where you find.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
And sadly, this year I'm not going to be doing international sales. They've just been sort of a pain, and it's always it's a lot more effort, and there's always some stragglers. There's one in particular right now still waiting to clear customs in the UK, and it's I feel bad for the dude, and it's just I'm over here checking and worrying about it and stressing on it. It's just it's just not worth it. So if you're an international person, buddy up with an American who can be your new shipping partner, and work with them to do it. I can't deal with it.
That's fair. That's fair to say, man.
Yeah.
And it's not a cash grab. You want to make sure people get their product in hand. I love that.
And I don't keep backups of everything. We just it's like a one and done thing. So I sell what I've got. So I feel bad if it gets lost or doesn't make it, which still to this day, there's only been one that hasn't made it, but there's been a lot that have taken a while. And just sitting, these ones were just sitting in Miami for a month before anything moves. And, we're chatting with the guys about, when are we going to replace it? At what date do we say, okay, it's been there so long? It's a bit of a pain. But everything in the US is just does great and gets there no problem, a few days. And so I think we're just going to stick with that for this year, keep things stress-free.
I was going to say the path of least resistance is best when you're trying to juggle as much things as you often are. Because you're never just dropping one thing with it and being yep, I'm done.
There's lots of ongoing projects, and I'm fingers crossed in the process of expanding the grow this year. So there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes work going on this year too. So just trying to streamline everything.
I can't wait
for
more broadleafs.
Damn it, I was going to make the same joke. I was going to say it's very kind of you to finally go through with the dropping of broadleaf from your catalog. It's just wasted time. No, that's awesome, man. It's it does suck, but You just have to do the easy thing when you're busy, man.
Yeah.
I know what that's like.
I mean,
you're your own dude. You can make what you want to make, which that's awesome. Like you can tell people to suck it if you want to.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm not telling them to suck it. I appreciate all their support.
You heard it here first. Alebrije hates foreigners.
Foreigners. You ever see the movie Waiting before?
Yes.
I
love that movie.
We just watched it a week ago. It's so funny. It still holds up very well. But like
snake on a trampoline.
Table of like Germans come in, and she's like, I set this table for you, and the waitress is like, foreigners, what? They're always like pretending like they don't know how to tip and whatnot. Anyway, when you said foreigners, that just struck a note. I love you guys abroad. But yeah, find an American shipping partner this year.
That's fair to say. Community's good.
There's plenty of us around.
Then it's like
I love you, but just a little bit less than everyone else. Say it, man. It's okay.
Well, that being said, I would love to like do some international pop-ups in the future, so I can actually like bring the beans direct to you and not have to worry about the shipping aspect.
That'd be awesome.
You know what would be funny is if we keep the tradition of piggybacking off of your pop-ups and we do a YAG birthday party for that pop-up, but no one from YAG can go because we can't afford to travel out of the country. We're just like, yeah.
I'm just gonna like bring YAG stickers with me. YAG on tour.
Wait. These guys don't
podcast from there. We'll be sitting right where we are.
Yeah.
I have a question.
If we interview from there, that counts.
I've never been to Canada. I would love to go.
No, you're shipping. Like, does it include no?
If I probably should not. I think I should.
It's still a pain in the ass to ship up there. I mean,
yeah, okay, yeah, it is.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
That's actually, excuse me, I have lost 2 packages, but the one in Canada, I actually got a letter, and it was they like had the specific number of seeds. I sent 67 seeds to this guy. That I got a letter from Canadian Customs. So yeah, maybe Canada too. I don't know. But in general, they get there pretty quick.
Isn't it legal in Canada?
But it's not legal to ship seeds over international borders. So
it's legal to like carry in Canada, obviously, right? Like you can have it in your pocket, but if you try and cross from the United States into Canada, then you're breaking fucking importation rules and shit.
Got it. Because of politics.
Super bullshit. It's like Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like, come on. Invisible line on the ground. Yeah, big deal.
If it comes from Cuba, no can do, but I can buy Cuban cigars from Europe, no problem. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, it's a righteous moral law that when right before signing it, you buy hundreds and hundreds of them for your personal use because you truly believe that it's a moral issue. Like, man,
that's our boy.
Are just the worst. Yeah, exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I love that story.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always the funniest. But yeah, I mean, I think Alebrije's coffee drop is something to get excited about. I know everyone is, but I wanted to ask a little pepper advice since we've got an expert. What would your recommendation? I'm looking around, and you're the only one here that you can call an expert on anything other than, I guess, Alebrije. But he gets a pass because the joke would have been funny, excluding him too. But what would be your intro sauce? Like if someone is starting to look into it, what do you think's a good kind of all around? There you go.
Smoky J all day. It's the most mild by far, not intentionally. Because, I'm Midwest, Minnesota, there's weak palates here. It's like prying teeth to try to get some individuals to try it because they've always had a bad experience with hot sauce and they think fire hot, fire burn. No, don't like it. And it's just poor experiences or just like not educated to think not all hot sauce is what you think or what you perceive. And then when you finally get them to like try a sample at a market, they're like, oh, that's not that hot. Actually, that's pretty good. And I'm just like, all right, I've been working at you for like 5 minutes to just trust me because I don't want to hurt people. Other people that do big hot sauce events, they love lighting you up unexpectedly, just lighten you the fuck up. I do not want to do that, dude. You could ruin someone's day. But yeah, Smoky J, mild Smoky Verde, eggs, pizza, burgers, wings, fucking roll, baby. Just treat it like a sauce. Green salsa verde, smoked elements. All the produce is actually smoked, so it's not like liquid smoke. So yeah, it's another pain in the ass sauce to make, but all of mine kind of are, and that's my error. If someone asks what would I do differently if I did it again, a lot.
that was
part
one
of the
first,
fun now.
That was one of the first bottles we had, and we finished it like it was gone 48 hours. And my wife isn't a big spicy fan, and she was just like dousing everything in it. It's a good like all arounder for any level. But I like super spicy, and I was still like pounding it on everything.
Because killer on fries.
It's not just like
you
a
make
mild sauce. Most mild sauces suck. They're watered down for the weak palates, but also people need to realize they still want flavor, and it has that. I've had like a couple Instagram reels where I went to like a Mexican restaurant with a buddy, and I'm just like, we're gonna crush this whole bottle really quick, and we're just gonna pour it on everything. Let's go. And it's not even like being ridiculous. It's gonna be delicious, but we're just fucking crushing.
That's my favorite thing is carnita tacos. And put that on there. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I also have a sauce that's currently out of stock called Piña de Ñata. It means damaged pineapple. It's my grilled pineapple al pastor street taco sauce with grilled pineapple, champagne vinegar, which is our fun, super expensive ingredient, but it has nice subtleties. Toasted coriander, cumin, a little ginger in there that's roasted as well too. But utilize some yellow brain strain pepper to that, so it's super super citrus heavy. But yeah, Piña de Ñata. Crack a bottle, take a little nip right out of it. Killer.
Hell yeah.
The menu for the Chicago pop-up is just deep dish pizza and a selection of Sam sauce.
I would
no.
It can happen. I would
no, I don't even want to go.
What?
Fucking deep dish pizza? No,
oh, because of the pizza. Dude, I was like, why are you shitting on the guy that's literally sitting right here?
Okay, a bunch of deep dish and one New York style.
Yeah. I'd be bomb. I would love to run into some more people and be more involved in this community. It's just a bunch of fucking weirdos like me, man. I love it. I feel comfortable here.
All I heard was Sam is coming to Chicago in September for the pop-up.
If the Sa'house man can be there, it would be bomb, dude. It would be a good time.
It would be cool.
It would be really cool. I love Chicago. I do a lot of hot sauce shows there and like tattoo conventions there. I used to before we had the little one, but hopefully that can happen again in the near future. But right now, dad duty.
Yeah.
Oh, let me also shout out Sam too, by the way. And Stoney alluded to it earlier that there's a lot of work goes into our packages and the art and the thought and things. And so I actually found the artist for our next drop, the great Corgafante, was actually the same one that did Sam's logo, which I found from him because I wanted to give it. It's got a very heavy Michigan black rock metal kind of theme to it. And so, yeah, that was all through Sam and just another community connection to another artist.
Hell
and
yeah.
He also turned me on to a handful of tattoo artists in Chicago that I'm kind of checking out maybe for the art for that.
For Rev.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me, Alebrije and I are temples still.
We are, yeah. We don't taint the skin.
So you're just gonna go with you'll just go with a lower back tattoo then? That's fine.
Just a little sneak
right above, right in the pubic area. I'm gonna get real talk. One of my friends, good friend of mine in high school. I think he lives in Arizona now, but he got SoCal tattooed on his hips 2 days before he moved to fucking Texas. And it was like, do you remember at that time where like there was a clothing brand called like SoCal or whatever, and it had stupid stars, and it was like there was like a logo at that time. Legitimately got that logo tattooed on his hips, where a woman would get a rose or something, and then immediately moved from Southern California. And I was, oh my goodness.
Don't do that.
We just spared a memory in Rev's mind, didn't we?
Oh my god,
Get
I
your
could go on
pets
about
on
my
your
dear friend's
chest or your
tattoos.
arms.
Yeah. This same guy got 187 tattooed on his shin and was surprised when he got pulled over that the police were a little angrier at him.
Weird.
But he was a good guy. Yeah. Darn. I've gone back in the mindscape because of that silly tattoo.
Yeah,
I did want
artists
to
and
ask
everything are
all the
fucking killer,
chefs.
dude.
Yeah. I was gonna say it seems to be that the chefs, all chefs on the panel here, have really good taste in art. I wonder if it's because you're so meticulous and fucking anal that you just enjoy the artwork, or because every chef that all three of you guys are very good visually too. So I'm curious if you guys think that's something that plays a role in being a chef as well.
Yeah, it's art.
I mean, it's visually visually exciting. You know, plating. I mean, you just see like a plate that's designed really well. It's not just food slapped on. I mean, like designing labels or artwork or anything like that. You could say, "Hey, I want a guy holding a pepper," and it's like, "Cool, pepper, stupid." Just more, individualism, like the new artist Alebrije was talking about. Steven Yoyada, everything I do, he creates, and it's very 70s psychedelic, stoner, doom, metal. He does album artwork for like bands all over the world: Sleep, Red Fang, King Buffalo, like big heavy doom metal shit. But yeah, bomb. And art's just appealing. I like that shit a lot.
Yeah, I think the key is that, for at least for me, is that I think as a chef, what we do is we create a medium that people engage with, and I think that translates with the art that we do, the packaging that you guys think through. It's everything that we do, that we craft for a plate. Whatever we craft or create, we want people to engage with, and so we think of every single step. I think that's the key to the hospitality element of things, is that we think about every thought or action that may happen from the moment that they think about engaging with what we do, all the way through creating this sort of memory that sinks within them and lasts kind of forever, right? So take it to your sauces, right? It's a one-off sauce that they're going to have this experience. They're never going to get that flavor experience again. They will hopefully never forget it. But as a part of that, it is going to the site, it is ordering the bottle, it's getting that and opening it up, seeing the artwork and delivering on the flavor, and then creating these memories with the meal. Same thing goes over with the seeds and the coffee. Like the excitement, like anyone can go to the store and get a hot sauce, anyone can go to the store and get a bag of coffee, but it's the experience of getting in on the drop, or experience of meeting and getting in as a part of this, ordering it, getting it delivered to you. It's like the whole memory that we do. And I think that's the essence for me, that like in cooking was like, it wasn't just about creating something that looked really good or tasted really good. It was more about, I'm doing this like expression of this art that I've learned, and the craft and everything that I'm doing to put this all together. Someone's going to experience it, and they're going to kind of have this memory last for a very long time, right? The essence is like, what we create. I always would tell people, what we create in food literally turns to shit within hours. But if we do our job very well, people will never forget that meal. They'll never forget those flavors, or that experience of having something for the first time, of having a hot sauce with chia in it, right? Or just, these are the things that jump right out at people, that last forever. And if we can create memories in that, then I think we have a more special place than anything than just slapping stuff onto a plate or throwing seeds into a box or a bag.
Stoney's good at words.
He is good at words.
That was really nice.
I know, and I know you asked the chefs, but could an old army chef break this down for the lay?
Do it.
Absolutely.
You eat with
Uncle
your
Sam's
eyes.
best, my friend.
You eat with your eyes.
Totally.
Hey,
that's
man,
it.
I realized it was a dumb question, but I got 3 chefs talking about fucking art and shit, which is probably the coolest thing that's been on YAG in a while. So I win.
Well, I wanted to say, yeah, I also like the visual aspect of food was big for me too. And, there was a lot of restaurants I worked at in my career where I had literally just watched YouTube videos of people eating the tasting menu, and I went, that looks so cool. Like I hadn't even tasted it myself, might not even have known what the dish was, but it looked so visually appealing that I became very intrigued and excited and wanted to go explore or find out what's going on in this place. There were multiple places like that in my career that the visual aspect was such a big part of what I was after. It's culinary arts. It's an art just like all the others, but at the same time, it's so much more because it engages all of the senses, not just the looks, but flavor, smell, textures, touch, etc. The sound, even, you got the fajita effect when a sizzling platter of fajitas is rolling through the restaurant. Your mouth is salivating. You've become accustomed to that.
There's people that like that smell. I honestly don't like the smell of that. Oh, I hate it. Like you go somewhere and they're like, yeah, they got the fajita cast iron thing coming through, and it's just like, it just smells like burnt vegetables to me. Like I love fajitas, but I could not stand the smell of it.
I agree with you. I know what you mean, but it was like the early 2000s,
it was the thing, man.
Yeah.
Middle you're glazing a pan that's probably burnt on vegetables. I mean, that's exactly that.
But those vegetables were onions and peppers, which always smell kind of good, sort of charred.
Man, I love it.
All right, Hallie. Subway used to pump the bread exhaust into the oven from their dirty dishwasher ovens, right? So pool pond, whatever.
No, Subway has never done anything insane bad.
Their ovens look like dishwashers. Sorry.
Me too.
I don't think I don't think that should be your biggest problem with that restaurant. I think there are fairly larger issues.
Grab a list. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate all the answers. I'm afraid that it's getting late into the episode, so I'm gonna ask everybody if they've got any plugs or final thoughts, because I used my last dumb question of the episode to ask that chef question. So in the spirit of asking everybody, Howling, as a chef, what do you think about what I asked earlier?
I'm not a chef, though.
Well, that's a disappointment. If you want my opinion, I disagree with all of them.
Well, I'm trying. Well, I'm not a chef. I definitely don't have the intuition for it all, but I do have to say, a shout out to Sam, though. I've been meaning to thank you for all the help with guiding me through of how to create my first hot sauce. And it was exactly what I needed. A lot of times when I ask for some help, I like to follow recipes, but the advice you gave was a lot more. It wasn't a recipe. It was find any recipe, but these are the things to watch out for, to do, or to think about, and do it for you. And I think that kind of knowledge was a lot better than any recipe you could give me. And so I've made my first hot sauce. I actually kind of like it. And then now I'm going to try preserving lemons, because I noticed you used it on, I think, the Blue Zermiga hot sauce.
I do it a lot.
And I was like, what is this? And I bought a paste, and I'm like, this is I can see what preserved lemons probably should be like. I'm like, this paste is pretty bland. I bet it's not that like that. So now I need to preserve my own, because I gotta taste these now. So I just want to thank you before we end for that. You kind of unlocked a little side quest for me where I get to try out something completely different from plants and stuff. And so thanks.
That's awesome, man. Thank you.
Look at that. He started the plug ceremony for us all. Johnny, do you have anything to plug? Any final thoughts?
Nope. No, Sam, thanks for joining us. It was an absolute blast. I definitely want to explore some more with peppers this year, but I don't know where my garden's taking me other than pumpkins. So maybe we can make some fucking pumpkin hot sauce or something. I don't know, guys. What do you think?
100%.
Yeah. Some 152 and trash pumpkin. That just sounds delicious, mixed with some roasted. I don't know. That sounds good.
Chipotle, peppers, pumpkin, squash.
Chipotle sounds good.
We need to get some bacon in there, though. I don't know how you get bacon into a hot sauce, but we need to figure that the fuck out.
Just if it's chopped up fine enough, you can shove it in there.
Yeah,
maybe like a vinegar wash.
That'll be. We'll definitely have to have you back on for whatever you just described. Stoney, any final thoughts or plugs?
Bacon fat rendered onions into it. Johnny, you don't need to put the plug in.
There you go.
You just use the rendered bacon fat.
I think the Yag hot sauce is coming around here.
Pumpkin.
Right, there we go.
Yeah. No, my shout out would be for Howland. Thanks for pulling this together.
As a founding member of YAG and someone who hates onions, absolutely fucking not.
We'll see. We'll see what we convert you by the end of the summer.
Oh, I'll be fine. Just don't tell me it's in there. It's a hot sauce, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. Right. So shout out to Howler for pulling this all together. Appreciate it. And he definitely got this sparked and started talking about these hot sauces and pulled this all together. So thanks for that, for Howling. And keep your eyes peeled for more of the collective get together here in the fall with Alebrije. So it's going to be an awesome one. So keep your ears peeled. It feels like more and more the plans are starting to come together. So it's going to be a wild one.
Camping at Stoney's.
Big house, big yard.
I've been informed I have to sleep in a tent outside.
It's a step up from the shed.
Surprisingly,
the truck tent,
is an upgrade. Yeah. Alebrije, plug your stuff again. And any final thoughts?
Well, I just want to say thanks to Sam. I had a lot of fun doing the collab. It was a really creative thing outside the box. I hadn't really thought of weed in terms of just like a general flavor profile like that before. So I'm glad we pulled it together, and looking forward to collab number 2, probably in our holiday drop this year coming up. I have no clue what it's going to be, but we'll get it to it later this year. And coffee drop February 7th. There'll be a link to shop at 4:20 p.m. on my Eastern time on my website. Thanks for having me again.
Always a pleasure. Sam, plug yourself in a beautiful fashion.
Too kind. First of all, if it wasn't for Alebrije, I wouldn't even be involved in this community. And I think this is awesome. It's just people loving passion. I mean, it's like passion-fueled projects, quality over quantity. And that's just really cool. It's a great community. So thank you for that, Alebrije, for piggybacking me in here. Howling, I appreciate you putting this together. The whole YAG crew, once again, for putting up with me. But this is awesome. I love what I do. I make small batch premium hot sauce. I'm always confident when I say I make the best hot sauce on the market for me. And that's all I try to do. So if you're looking for super sugary, sweet shit, you ain't getting it from me, man. And that's cool. I don't want to create that. But you can get anything from just samsauce.com. And, I'm easy to find. Smokey J all day. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You were so very kind in the messaging. I appreciate if anybody wants to ask questions about his sauce, reach out on Instagram, man. He answers. Before we go, Johnny, I want to shout out Howling. He's going to be doing some photo testing for Daz. So he added a whole bunch of pressure to his shoulders. So I look forward to him slamming another great grow.
I want to interject too and say I strong-armed Howling into testing something else for me today too. So thank you, Howling, for all you do.
He's an easy arm to twist.
Oh, that was the one where you didn't even ask me. That was that one, right? Oh,
I've got something else for you. Don't worry.
I'm just messing with you. No. I think Howling is I think he's the perfect choice. He's a great dude.
I mean, it's going to be a very, very neurotic spring between Alebrije and Night Owl, and trying to test out some stuff and give at least some form of feedback, other than it smelled good. So it's going to be quite the storm.
You could give
over
feedback
here
on any minute of the day in that tent. So I think you're fine. Your tent's half robot at this point.
It is.
I love it. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you all.
Yes,
again
thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks. Peace.